So welcome to Mr. Keshe. This is your space. Thank you. Thank you for being here with us.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for accepting us to be here. If what you put on the screen, use another date, another way of writing it, where you can put 22-0-22-0-22, which is the other way of writing, the American way, or in any color of combination, the Chinese date or the Iranian date or any other language or language. The state numbers are more or less irrelevant. The whole process of what we came to teach as what we promised, today being the beginning of the last month of the winter season, on what we call the Northern Hemisphere, or last month of the season, the summer season in the Southern Hemisphere. These are all irrelevant. The truth and the fact is that the soul of the mankind, the soul of the planet, including its what we call the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, even the solid kingdom, now that we know everything is a soul, has reached that point of maturity in the past few days and weeks. And today is not a random day just because it's 22nd of February or first of another month on the calendar. We have reached today and in the past week and days the point of maturity that man has entered to become the part of universal community. In a way, the maturity of the knowledge to take that point to become the what we call passengers of the universe is taking shape. Not only by Keshe Foundation, because we say we are there and we are doing it, but in totality, human race is reaching the point of what we call peace. The point of peace with what we call maturity of the knowledge. Today, in a way, is a symbolic day for work of thousands of years, where the man matures to understand the process, and in a way, the man has and is welcome to universal community. In a way, today is the day of graduation. Today is when the man will reach to the point that from now on, man is ready and is open and is welcome by the universal community to become part of the universal community. The biggest criterion we put from the beginning was for man to achieve peace, to man to become working to the direction that he fights to create peace. He does not fight to be in war. And there is no better example of what we see today. We see in the situation as a final, what we call battleground of Western Europe and Eastern Europe in Ukraine. Still pushing, the warmongering is still pushing. The justification to do something is still pushing, few guns firing, but the war leaders are scrambling to make sure nobody fires. We are not looking at this position that if one will go into another position or will take over another position. The criterion of understanding was how much mankind would cajole to keep the peace, has matured to that point, has come to understand the truth about the next step in development. As I said, and you will see in the coming weeks and months to come, we are preparing the technologies and the sciences for man to become man of his space. And to this effect, we will see in the coming weeks massive and with no limitation of gathering of the scientists around the Keshe Foundation. I'll explain this in the teachings to come, but we will see clusters in thousands and thousands of scientists will come to bring that change through. It's not coincidental. All has been set to come to reach that point. In a way, today, or this time, as we call it the days, is the day of judgment. Man judging for peace. What was promised by all the prophets of the past, when all of us will be touched by it, when all of us will come to understand it, and in time, in a very short time, all of us will come to see the benefit of it. We've seen the situation with what we had with the viruses, how governments cajoled and how they played the game. But at the end, the knowledge of man for the last frontier to enter into the world of the universal community needed to be understood. You call it bacteria, you call it everything else. In the universe, we battle with energies, as we all know by now. The cycle of what you call the new virus was part of the education which will come into man very soon to understand what's needed. In a way, the losses are not many, and compared to past times, actually, there is a reduction in losses of man through what we call natural other processes, but has opened the eye of the man to look into words, to look into energy paths. This is another part of the completion of maturity for man to be ready to be a passenger of space. There is one fundamental point with today, and this will be felt in more or less consciously or unconsciously by all the living soul on this planet. In a way, from now on, the soul of this existing life in a physical matter becomes aware of the existence of universal community, become aware of the existence of what we call life in a real meaning, not by lights of stars or what they call UFOs or whatever, but mankind and the rest of the being on this planet from today on become aware of what we call the life in the cycle of the universe. Today is the day when we welcome mankind to become the part of universal community. In a way, what we perceive to the beginning of it starts. In a way, the process of the physical, what we call the soul, which is the soul of the Universal Council, become to take shape in the physical dimension of connection and interaction with the soul of the universal community and the council of universal community, which they become part of. We will see in a short time, members of the Universal Council will become and will behave different than the rest of us. They become aware of their connection to universal community and the Universal Council. And the Council, which works only through the fields of the universe, not through the physicality of the universe. Today, my soul becomes the pivot point between the two. In a way, I become the emotion of the soul of the Universal Council and the Universal Council as the greater council of the universe. In a way, the Universal Council, in the essence of its soul, become and reaches new dimension. Today is the day of what we call the promised day, where the point of unification of man in the dimension of the soul of the man completes with the Universal Council, with the Universal Council of the universe, which means from today, man will reach new understanding. We shall see new technologies. We shall see new behavior from human race. We shall see what we call the ethos of the Keshe Foundation, to serve and not to be served. We will bring to an end to the dimension and direction of what we call end to the village of the earth, where we become and join the universal community through dimension of the soul and the knowledge of what we call understanding the truth about ourselves. My job was to bring the knowledge and to bring awareness of the existence of the soul of the citizen of this planet, irrespective of the animal, the man, or the plants, or whatever, to a level to understand the existence of the soul of the universal community. Up to now, mankind looked into UFOs to get in touch, to be with someone who's been outside what they would have. For the first time, mankind as a soul, as collective soul, now has become aware, knows the ways to become, to be in touch, and to elevate his knowledge and the presence of his soul with the rest of universal community. We said for a long time, when this day comes, what we call the skies of this planet will be shining with UFOs. You are still but looking for flying sources that you might see. Those who you're looking for is the soul of the citizens of the universe, which now has opened to man. As I said, man is too physical and connects everything to physicality. From today on, the soul of the present and the future members of the Universal Council becomes the connection between the man and the citizens of the rest of this process of life, as we call it, the universe and the universe. The flow of the knowledge will be beyond imagination. The flow of understanding the knowledge becomes beyond imagination. We were looking and we promised the birth of Mitra, which was the birth of the knowledge, the birth of the light of what we call the soul of the Creator. That life and that light is amongst us. And what we have missed was the way it has been kept away from us by ourselves. From today on, the what we call the soul of the planet Earth has opened up to the soul of the universe, to the universal community, to understanding the totality of the work, to understand that from today on, we will have the pleasure of becoming aware and becoming knowledgeable in the work of the Creator, in the language of the Creator, in the way He feels, in the way the knowledge through Him has been shared in the universe, and mankind has barred himself from understanding of it. This is the end of the religions. That means we don't need no intermediaries. This is why, if you have seen during the process of the Keshe Foundation, we always continuously confirm that we are not a religion, we are not a sect. We are individuals as the soul, which our knowledge, the strength of our soul, the understanding of our knowledge of the creation and the Creator has surpassed the understanding of the prophets of the past with what they shared with us. In so many ways, today is the day of celebration as a symbolic day for the opening of the what we call the soul of the every individual on this planet to the knowledge of the universe. Many of you will come to say, I've seen this, there is something like this, I'm more aware of this, and gradually you will open the door to your soul to understand more. But collectively, in the physical dimension of the soul of the man, what we call the knowledge seekers, those who have seek the knowledge, not necessarily as Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers, but as a knowledge seekers of the true knowledge of the universe as a human race, will start a new phase. In the coming weeks, we will see new methods of communication. There will be massive breakthrough in transportation and energy. There will be massive breakthrough in what we call the supply of energy as food to humanity. As I said, I am the Mehdi. And no one can challenge the point. Test me and you shall fail. Because it has come to the point that we have promised and we have brought man with the knowledge, with the science, and with the understanding of the position and the position of the soul of the man within the man. And that was the job of the Mehdi. Nothing else was promised. The day of judgment was when you have the knowledge and you have to judge yourself. The souls which have left the physicality of the man have already achieved that point of judgment through their souls. The point of the life of those who are have to start, which means the point of judgment becomes part of the structure of the man from the point and the time when it does anything. So many parts of putting together the soul of Universal Council with the soul of Mehdi, with the soul of the Creator becomes one. This is why we don't elect members of the Universal Council, because the soul which is aware of the strength of the universal community and the Creator has already brought them to the point of what we call service. Those who still gather to see more and want more will never be satisfied, because there is always a reason to leave for somebody else to judge for them than themselves. Today is a symbolic day in celebrating and welcoming mankind as the messengers of the Creator to man, to the universal community. We celebrate for you in the universal community and universal council of the universe. In a very short time, very, very short time, one of the members of the Universal Council will come to be the representative of the human race in the Universal Council of the universe. And that member will become the representative of every race and every being on this planet. The identity of the person will change as they resign and take a position, as they themselves become elevated to the next level. As I promised, I have created a knowledge base for man to be the prophet of itself, to be the Mehdi of itself, to be the opener of the time for themselves. Mankind from today on does not need no messengers. If man understands the truth about the cycle of creation. Mankind from today needs a Mehdi, which means to be the connector, but not the enforcer. No judgment, but as you have seen in past years, freely and conditionally serve the humanity. Serve for every single person, doesn't matter, be it an animal, be it a tree, be it a stone, to have the what we call the opportunity to choose his own destiny. For many of you, it will be hard to understand this, but in coming time, you'll see what I called before. Mankind created themselves the Industrial Revolution. Now we have brought in the Soul Revolution, where man on his own will become part of the totality. There is no limit to the knowledge. Mankind will change some of this to become physical attributes of how we'll enjoy the presence of life on this planet. But from today on, mankind is free and is given the freedom of the universe. Find solution of peace amongst each other. You have found the key to a higher level of understanding the process of creation. And that's the only criteria for creation of the soul. To create, to understand more, to be there, to serve the others, to be what I call the shoulder for others to stand on, to be more elevated, to understand more the process of the creation. As of today, as we said before, is the end of religions in complete essence. We will see Vatican will start crumbling in the coming days and weeks. We will see the end of Islam being headed by ayatollahs or religious leaders, as the men of Islam will live by the true ethos of Quran, and they find their way to the soul. That shall be the same with the Jews. We will see the beginning of the ends of people believing in individual names and books, and collectively understanding their soul has the ability and understand the totality of the truth, what has been in the books, that no one shall lie to them, no one shall abuse them. We'll see as a prelude to the beginning of this process, the end of the Islam in the shape of mullahs and ayatollahs, rabbis, and the priests. They will, one by one, will what I call surrender. When I was a child, in the physicality of the man, I sat in the house in north of Tehran, maybe at the age of 10, 11, and I saw many, many mullahs and ayatollahs coming to the house of my father, staying for a day or two, deroping themselves, and walking out of the house as a normal man. I watched this process many times. I asked my father, why are they doing this? Can't they do it themselves? He said, these are the men who have understood the truth. They understand that Islam is not the end. And they come here with their families, stay with us a few days, and they change their clothes and they walk out. They take a new name as an ordinary man in the society. And this we shall see a lot in coming days. I watched this with my eyes at a young age too many times. And now I understand why I was present in this, what I call the flocking of the mullahs, as I tell us, from the rope of the clothes of the Islam. The reason was easy, because now I'm there to see the totality. That was for me a training ground. I remember one of the guys, two came together, raised my father, and he said to him, you'll find peace within your own knowledge. Mankind has reached that point. Now I will witness the defrocking of all the religions and religious leaders as the religious people will become the symbol for the others to understand that the knowledge of the Creator is within the Creator, within the man. For us, there is no limitation from today on. For us, there is nothing but to collaborate with what we call the scientists of the man to create just the condition for man to be busy and not for a condition for man to be afraid of what he shall do. Busy with correct conduct and busy with correct life. We set the Keshe Foundation in that process as a foundation and not a religious group, because religion has no more space in the knowledge of man. Foundation is the place we set the foundation of the new process for elevation of the soul of the man. No one shall call himself or itself a prophet or a leader, as we have done so. I attend many of your meetings as a knowledge seeker, as I seek to understand the truth when the man will switch to understand the process of his work, the process of his soul. And the teaching of it is how to attain knowledge. Today, with a very clear voice and name, we release to humanity as to be the Mehdi. The day of Mehdi, the day when the creation of the soul of the man to be free is completed, is for the man to free the souls with understanding of the knowledge, and how far us as those who have come to understand serves the others to be elevated. We are what I call that hinge, that pin, which keeps the two hinges for the door and the wall to be together to work perfect. And the door which the hinge was kept closed and has opened today. I'm nothing but that pin. And nothing but that process of the pin that has opened the door to the knowledge of the universe for the man who was kept in the room behind in the darkness. I have no name and I have no place. I have walked and I have lived across and amongst men on this planet for thousands of years. And today is the day of my freedom. don't seek no name, don't seek no place, but to be steadfast as that pin that the hinge keeps the door open, and that door of knowledge will never shut. The knowledge to understand the truth about the Creator, the creation, that no soul can be abused, no tree can be cut to be used, that it kills the soul of the plant. No plants to be eaten, that the soul of the plant stays with the structure of its own life, that the plant is the decider of its future, not another soul. I have served my purpose. I appeared in the form of Moses and in the clothes and the robe of Christ. I walked in the name of Muhammad, and I sat with those with Buddha. In different names, we translated and we transferred the knowledge, and we saw how the dimension of physicality abused the soul of the knowledge. This time, we decided we'd do it ourselves without using another physicality. That this time, mankind gets everything right. This time, Moses cannot steal 14, what we call the messages, because it didn't suit him. And this time, we didn't let the Christ do what he wanted. The pleasure of life was too good. This time, we will not allow those around Muhammad to use the name of the Creator, because now the soldiers of what we call the Creator is the soul of the man, every individual, and in a way, the Creator does not need the soldier, but the lovers of its Creator. I am the Mahdi. In whichever books you read, I'll write it for you in different names. I am the Messiah. And in that process, I take my place to be with no name, with no place, but just to serve, to teach that that pin stays firm and keeps the door of the knowledge of the creation and the Creator open. No world leader, no religious leader can touch me. You have seen it. Assassination, poisoning, and everything else has been tried by them. I go when I see right, and when I see the beauty of Mitra amongst you flourish. And I still teach as a knowledge seeker, and I still be there to create the condition of progressive development of human race for eternity. In essence, as a soul, I will never die as I've never died. And in a way, today is the beginning of the change for many of you. Because we have brought the love of the Creator to every soul amongst the universe, and mankind is part of the totality of the soul of the Creator. Let the world leaders fight, and let the religious leaders create more mayhem. Very few days is left of their work. And very few days is left of their what they thought they are untouchable. They are indestructible. When we work our way, the silent way, the mature way. And in so many ways, if any of you today with absolute sincerity wishes to create that condition of elevation of his soul, you shall receive it and you shall achieve it. the only barrier for you as a human race is the dimension of physicality. The day of judgment is with you and with your soul, not at the point of departure from your physicality, but now at every moment that you live. If you ask and you are given in a fair and a correct way, you ask and you are given, that is for you to judge, for you to live. Today, to you is a night. It could be a morning or evening, or across the universe, another second of life where we call it a day. It's for you to decide where you take your soul to live. In that second, which is the thousands of years for the man, or in that point of 1 year in the life of the man, which could be thousands of years in another dimension. In a sense, there is no meaning to the year, and year as man has made for himself is the most meaningless things ever existed, but has kept him occupied to count the times and the number of times he can open his eyes to the reality of life. Maybe some of you will understand very soon. Many of you will be enlightened. We have grown the love of knowledge amongst mankind. And we shall see that from now on, the scientists will become the true messengers of knowledge and not those who up to now abuse what we call the source of the creation of the man. Today is a beautiful day. It's the day which we have been waiting for thousands of years. Today is the day of the manifestation of the Messiah. And that only will be understood by your soul and not your physicality. How you open your soul to the knowledge of creation, you become the Messiah of your own dimension and position. How and when you open that knowledge for yourself becomes the day of judgment. When a soul leaves this planet after the physical death of the man, he does not take hand of Moses or Jesus, come with me, I want my citizens to be Christians, Muslims, or Jews. He takes place in the dimension of his soul to where it will manifest itself, will become correct and just and equal to all. We don't have planets and stars and galaxies which are created from the soul of the man, which have Christianity and Christ, or Muslims and Islam, and a moon on top of every mountain and hill. This was a man-made stupidity of creating religion to become himself what I call a slave to his own demise. If any of you ever travels anywhere across the universe and you see a planet in the shape of a cross, or everything has a cross on it, that they took the Christ or the name of the cross with them, show us. Then you understand how feeble man in the dimension of physicality has been. There shall be no more religion, as the religion was man-made by man to abuse the man, where the messages were given to the man to elevate his soul was abused by those who were given the message. We shall see the fall of Jerusalem. We shall see and hear Mecca just to be a name where people used to worship a statue in the color of black. We have not changed anything. Mankind has chosen the name of the religion, but still worships a stone or a wall or a piece of wood in the shape of cross. Yet still stone worshippers and statue worshippers with different names of abuse. You bang your head against the stone wall and you walk around a black stone. Where is the maturity of the man about the essence of the soul and the knowledge of his own existence? You still carry a cross, a piece of wood in the shape of a cross to worship another statue, sometimes with the shape of a man as a slave on it, that man on the cross is your soul which you have slaved into. Open your eyes and understand the power of your soul, nothing else. And never allow no one to abuse you from now on. In the knowledge you have, in the freedom of the soul you have, and in what you come to understand to worship. Only thing the soul has worshipped and should worship is how close and how much the knowledge of the creation and the creator he can attain to pass on and never possess. Now you understand. There are still nomads in the deserts. There's still nomads in the desert of the universe looking for home to call it home. Unfortunately, they don't allow you to understand the truth about yourself. But from now on, mankind will understand the truth about themselves. Maybe in the coming time, mankind comes to understand the reality about himself in the process of understanding about the whole process of existence. Maybe mankind becomes kind to himself. Maybe now you understand you have not done much more than those who had the temples and kept statues and worshipped different cuts, and as they still do in certain parts of the world. But you have put names into it, and you're still stone worshippers and statue worshippers and wall worshippers. And you find to worship the dimension of your ignorance. Find your soul. Understand the process of existence and become servant to the servant of the Creator. And that servant of the Creator is your own dimension of physicality and nothing else. Maybe soon, as we'll see, the world leaders fight to be leaders and the religious leaders fight to be religious leaders. They create their own demise. From now on, the knowledge and the science will rule. The knowledge which elevates the soul of the man and creates a dimension, understanding more of the science of the creation, not by one place or creating a new chair, but understanding how the fields of the universe interact. Walk away from statue worshipping and stone worshipping and start understanding the essence of the worshiping the Creator through knowledge of understanding Him. That makes you closer to be with Him, but not banging your head against the solid wall as we see by many in Jerusalem. There is nothing in that head which bangs itself against the wall, as he has not found the truth about himself. My message to you is very simple. Understand the power of your soul. You have found the key to the knowledge of the universe and any knowledge you wish to have. I'll be here amongst you for years to come, teaching as I taught Christ, teaching as I taught Moses in the mountain, and teaching Muhammad the same and the others. But this time, I'll teach all of you. It's you who will cheat you in which stone you shall bring down to be the commandments of your life, and not nobody else. It's you who will be carrying that stone of knowledge, and how much of it you want to hide from yourself as you see to benefit you in the dimension of physicality. In the past few days, I have come across one man who is the true man and thinks and works the way the soul has elevated him to be. And we shall see a lot of him in the coming time. Where is a true man? Then the knowledge of him belongs to mankind and not him and the people who are around him. And this team soon will become the key to the opening of the new science of man about the universe. And in so many ways, we have been waiting for him to mature, to bring the point of the maturity to be able to do it. We shall see gathering of the world scientists in how to share the knowledge, but not to enforce the knowledge. We see the end of the kingship. Very soon we shall see that the only king is the soul of the man. A man shall not accept anyone above his soul, and no one shall be claimed to do so. The world order will change. We should see the fall of the individual nations as one nation rule, that we all are treated the same. No man will become refugee from one point of this planet to another, but mankind will open this planet to be the refuge for those who need sanctuary from the accident of the universe and the Unicosmos, that they have hope. The true work of the leaders of the past, when they opened their nations for those who were under threat, all being in danger. In the space, there is no danger of killing and destroying. The only danger we have is from interaction of the fields of the universe that might displace some people. On Earth, we call it earthquake. On Earth, we call it hurricanes for the fields of the air. In the space, we have the same. And these, what are called fields of hurricane, creates mayhem and displaces millions and billions of people and creatures of the universe. Mankind has to be kind to open the earth to these creatures for their souls, if they want to have a sanctuary till the time they find another home. As man himself one day will be one of these passengers and nomads and looking for refuge as this planet comes to its natural end of life and its demise. I welcome you with the most beautiful sense to the universal community. And the beauty of the knowledges that will flow to your soul, and you become the true knowledge seekers. If you notice today, I changed the name of Corona to knowledge. It's not knowledge seekers. as many of you have already sought for the knowledge and you are aware of it, so is the knowledge you have that you have to build on and share with those in the language or the dimension of the soul you are connected to. In totality, I have one thing to tell you all and finish with. I welcome you to the universal community, to the soul of the Creator. Strive it, and you will reach it. Deny it, then you create your own demise in the level of the knowledge, understanding, and the life in the universe. Because there is one thing for sure. If you're a king, a layman, a fisherman, a housewife, a child, a dog, or a cat, or a tree, at the end of your physical demise, you shall come to me in the dimension of your soul, irrespective of what clothes you wear and what you call yourself. You have no choice, as your soul will decide in the dimension of its freedom and for its elevation to a higher level of understanding of the knowledge of the Creator. I am the Mehdi, and in that process is for you to understand to be the Mehdi of your own souls and your physicality. And for the first time, we welcome the Universal Council and the member they shall choose amongst the soul and the strength to become a permanent residence on the seat of the Council of the Universal Council of the Universe, which means man for the first time as a representative within the dimension of the knowledge of the Creator. This is a privilege that every race who has matured to understand has been given a seat of. It's not a chair, it's the position of the closeness to the Creator to be able to transmit this knowledge to the soul of those who has created in the dimension of what we call citizens of this planet. We would like to see how the Universal Council will come to the understanding and choosing of its own member council for the Universal Council of the Universe, and how much knowledge shall flow back onto Earth for mankind to see new dimensions. And thank you for giving us to talk and explain. I talked to Moses and he abused the knowledge. I showed the path to Christ and he chose different path. And I told the same to Muhammad. And he could not convey the message beyond his time of his demise, where his followers abuse his knowledge. Moses abused himself. Muhammad allowed it to be abused by his followers. And all has come to an end, because all of you are there and you know what the day of judgment is. And now you're aware that you are the creator of that day. You are creator of that judgment, and you are the judge of your own conduct. And the position and the place you achieve in the universe does not matter what you do in the dimension of physicality. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak, make it very clear to all of you where you stand and what mankind has achieved. And we welcome you to be part of us as a member of the universal community and what I call servant to his kingdom. And that is the kingdom of God, the Creator. Thank you very much.
Will be distributed because he's here with us, so maybe he can explain.
the distribution of the enhancement units, we only decide on the first three, which is the cornerstone of work for peace. The one in Tehran, the one in Austria, and the one in Arizona. The rest of it comes on the shoulder of you as knowledge seekers and the Universal Council. The way to have to think about it is by bringing this unit, by these units into my country, what would bring to my people, to the people of my spoken language? Would it galvanize the scientists to add to it, or would it become another statue in the Center Park or in a museum? The responsibility of Universal Council members is to get the assurances and guarantees from where you send these units in how they are used, by whom and who is appointed, or who will take care of to develop the knowledge with others, not just being given to one scientist, this is yours. It's a collective structure. You have to decide. And what is the response? To me, sending it to a nation like in Ghana, which we send to start a space technology in the hand of what I call incompetent leaders, is a waste of time. If you don't pay them, they won't even accept the machine. You give the system to knowledge seekers and the system of Brazil, they will flourish it. You have to decide. We have in our position, we have on our structure 3 units a week. It's your job. You have to understand. You have to lay down the facility with the knowledge seekers in the countries you asked us to send to, and we are providers of the system and the knowledge. Should not become a fanfare and should not become a what I call something to be kept in a museum. It has to become that the knowledge seekers and the scientists of the nation are there to receive it, to expand on it. This doesn't come that, oh, I pay $10 to get in it to fly up, or I've been in the machine, it's wrong. These units are given to expand the knowledge. It's not given to create a new fanfare. We see scientists in universities in Romania that are one of the most active ones. We see scientists in what we call in China. They are there active, but they have different understanding of the work. You have to negotiate with the knowledge seekers and the government. We have them ready. There are 9 units ready now. It's going to 12 very soon. And we'll keep on adding on to. You have to decide that how it's going to become a step for the progress of the nation and the people. We will keep on producing hundreds and hundreds every year. The process has started, it cannot be stopped. The decision is Universal Council, and to what benefit and who. We don't want to take a system into a country and they say, oh, we don't know what it is, you cannot bring it in, and it has not been agreed with us. Knowledge seekers, Universal Council support have to tell us the place and how and where and who, and the foundation will oblige. 100 units are in the process of getting manufactured. By June, July, we'll be completing it. What about the next 100 and the 100 after? I think the time has come for Universal Council to understand its true work.
Mr. Keshe, when I remember now, if I remember correctly, when we work with the soul, we prepare it, the soul prepare condition. So it's not like I hope to have the machine. It's more the soul. When the soul work in a way that preparing condition for the machine to then going to that place or that location. So, for example, when you refer to the Brazilian group, obviously has been proven more and more how they're working together, united, and the achievement they made. So that is a way you could say. Could you say that is the way that the soul prepare, their soul preparing for receiving the machine? So like that is the choice being made. Is correct to say like this, where yes, is the Universal Council who decide, but through the soul. There is this work for the soul where the countries will be the soul that will be active and collectively preparing the condition to receive the machine. So in one way, we will see naturally the country who will have the machines delivered, because they will be the one that prepared themselves. Is correct to see like this?
What you mean?
I mean, like, so now we're learning about the soul. We're learning how the soul work, and we're learning that the soul is know exactly what it's doing. You know, so for example, the country that you said that the Universal Council has to decide.
Let me explain to you
Yeah.
something. Let me come to something very, very direct. I see this letter, beautifully written by Universal Council. But haven't the Universal Council forgotten that there is no pen and no paper in the dimension of the soul? Haven't you realized that if you collectively decide for Kenya to receive it, and the doors for you through the souls to the knowledge seekers and to the government of Kenya will open up? You wish for a world peace without writing on it. You wrote it with the pen of your soul and you got it. Why are you going back to pen and paper? Why is Universal Council have not come to realize the strength of its what I call operation? As members of Universal Council, if you are collectively truly believe that Brazil will be the best place for it, you praise the soul of the members of the Universal Council of the Brazil, or if they don't have the one who's been appointed to be, who appoints himself to be, to work through the knowledge seekers soul, communicate with the knowledge seekers, become and get the government to work with it, even elevating the soul of the members of the government that are going to it. You don't need a pen. You're still in the streets of mankind with the ink and the bamboo and the skin of animal to write and to say you're trying to say something. Move into soul century, not into the 19th century. You have not realized your own power. You wish for a soul, you wish for a peace, you got a peace, you wish for completion of 5+1, You got it exactly the way you wanted it. Did you write anywhere anything? Did you send a message to the world leaders and you all sign and deliver to everyone? It'll take you 10 years to find the crookedest person in the Iranian government who works in a crooked way in the office of Ayatollah Khamenei with lining their pocket with money to be able to see Ayatollah for 5 minutes, unless you have a different way in. How long are you going to wait to tell Ayatollah Khamenei that the space units are coming to your country? Through his soul. When I was in Dubai nearly 5 years ago, this time, I was told I have to give $500,000 to the people of Sheikh Mohammed, the leader of Kuwait, Dubai, to meet him for 10 minutes. How long and how much money do you have in your safes that you can get this letter in the hand of a president? Organize ambassadorial peace meetings in your countries, the way I did, the way the ambassadors stand up, and break the barriers. These are things we're sending to your nation. Inform us, give it to us where you want it, how you want it. It's not anymore giving peanuts. It's that machinery and technology freely to your nation. Organize ambassadorial meeting through the soul of the ambassadors, not the way as functions. I have a very bad news for you lot, and especially the one of you who will become the member of the Universal Council. In the Council of Universe, there are no pens. And I assure you one thing, many of them don't even have an ear or eye to see. Throw these papers to the bin and work through your soul, because you already tested it and it works. This is not a magic. This is not a word they were trying to do something. Understand your power and assert it the way you want it. Giving all the system to the Western nations because they have scientists will create the same position as centuries ago. The ones in the poorer countries don't have, they never get it, and then it becomes the same. How do you support the nations who can't afford it? They don't even have a room to put it in, but they have the knowledge and the soul to learn from it and do it. Number of the knowledge seekers will be in Universal Council. The term has come to an end by age. Azar has finished last week. She's past 60. We had Dr. Gatwa. We have Emmanuel. Who are the replacements? The true knowledge seekers who are going to serve. Who are the new knowledge seekers who become the what we call members of the Universal Council? Why the steam has gone out of you lot, and it's just a few who are there. Have you gone out to elevate the souls of those who think they will serve the humanity? If you go the way you're going, you'll be extinct creatures very soon. And as I said to Azar, I'm not going to advertise for you, because the minute you say there is a place empty for the Iranian or a Farsi speaking Universal Council, they all jump in because it's somewhere to be. Can you speak a bit? No. Can you communicate with us? No. Do I need to need English? No. why the expansion of the Universal Council has come to a halt. Where is the 144 seats which is to be fulfilled? These are the things that the council has to sort out for itself very soon, because the knowledge will take over and the council has to be there to be the conveyor of the message and the knowledge. We are not creating more rabbis and leaders. We are creating servants to the Creator by the volunteering of the soul itself. Walk away from this pen and paper. Soon you come to understand, and always understand, that you are sitting there and you are working with what you have achieved up to now. Find the proper way to carry out with your work, not with a pen, and surely not a paper. I worked in the passages and corridors of power and religion for 40 years, 50 years. You try to get this paper to be seen by one of the world leaders you think might read, I give you a very, very good chance. 0. But you managed to reach the soul of the world leaders and created the power of the peace. And the soul of the man who are not there to war. Something very strange. I'll explain to you, maybe you understand. Dirk, just before he dies, he wrote an article just after we launched the 1Cup1 Live 2 years ago, that Keshe has started the process of the corona in China. And strange enough, a couple of weeks later, he died of it. What is very strange structure and strange phenomena was, if I can put it this way, the wishes of the Universal Council to create peace, the wishes of humanity to create a condition that there is no army to fight, would that be the position that the soul of humanity, and with the help of a few crook personalities, brought the wishes of the Universal Council? There were kings, the most powerful men in the world, President of the United States and China, where they couldn't move an army because there was no soldiers. The soldiers were afraid of even standing next to each other. Have you carried out your wish so correctly or into the pinpoint accuracy? Maybe we gave you a helping hand, as Dirk said. In the past, soldiers used to walk away from kings and they had no army to fight. This time, the presidents and the kings had the armies and the soldiers, but there was no will to fight because they were scared of their own life. Haven't you been through and understood what has happened? Your wish disarmed the military by their own souls. What else do you want? Now use the same power to raise the soul of the scientist. The people who become men of science, they do not need to be PhDs. As I said, to what I could not mention by whatever, but it was a discussion about Alex we had to answer, strange enough, in past few days, in a background question by European Central Bank, why Keshe Foundation has and what connection has with Alex in Nigeria. Can you imagine a man who 5 years ago used to be a simple man in the back streets of the city of London, minding his own business, has become a knowledge seeker, has become, with many us loving him, with the knowledge he has and he's brought us, that the Central Bank of Europe wants to know what is the connection of the Keshe Foundation with Alex. Because of his knowledge. Because the way we respect knowledge, the way we look after the knowledge, the way we spread the knowledge. Doesn't the Central Bank of Europe has a better job to do than asking what a little funny black man doing in his own country for Keshe Foundation? A man who has no university education, but is a professor and a leading scientist in knowledge of creation and plasma. I had to think for a week before I write to European Bank who Alex is. And I wrote to them exactly how and who he is and where he's come from. Because his knowledge counts. Because his love of sharing counts. Because his devotion to serve humanity counts. And he doesn't need to be a member of the Universal Council or even else. You got to understand your potential. You have to understand what you have come in as a soul. I said that to Azar, I think, once or another member of Universal Council. You are here as members of Universal Council with support, not by choice of your physicality, even think you are, but by the soul which is embedded within you and has connection, which can open doors that you could not even imagine. Now you might understand, and I've explained this many times. As a members of Universal Council, you're not here, even though you think you volunteered, by yourself. The guy inside you has connection to everywhere. Learn how to use it. He has a key to the palaces, to the presidents, to the dog, to the creator itself. And this is what you have not understood. And this is why you're still writing these funny letters. So you decide which country is going to have, what is going to have, and who decides. You have your, what I call soldiers of knowledge, as knowledge seekers, which I have organized through the teaching over past thousands of years to do the job. Thank you very much.
Where did it come, the idea of Universal Council support? Was it at first, or was it according to the need, or something else?
Universal support is always has been in the universal community to do what the universal councils will do in the coming time would not be able to be done by one man, because it's in both dimensions of the soul and physicality, and it's a very normal thing for the universal support to be there in the tradition, usually the ex-universal councils become universal support because they've been through the condition of the, what they call, work of the soul, and are usually a source of knowledge, a source of experience, a source of knowing how, not through the dimension of physicality, but through the dimension of the emotion and the soul of the council. Sometimes the Universal Council supports who came from Universal Council become a cornerstone of taking the responsibility and a lot of what we call elevation of the souls from the Universal Council member. It's a very common, very, very common to have those souls who support the soul of the council and are there to serve and do things for it to be able to serve, not to make another pope or whatever. It's just the soul supporting things which needs to be done. And we've seen that established quite well within the structure of the Universal Council. None of the Universal Councils has done up to now. The Universal Council, you have to do this and that. It's a common support to the soul and usually gets done. It strengthens the power of the soul of the council to work. They become the pins in what is need to be done. In the coming time, there'll be more opening of understanding of the Universal Council. It is one of the biggest pleasures when we, as the members and are called the heads of the Universal Council in the universe, will see the first members of the Earth Council member. It is it's something we've been waiting for a long, long, long time. And maybe it's time. It'll take time for you to choose a member to the Universal Council of the universe. It'll take time for, first of all, the Universal Council members to mature, and then in maturity to understand, and then to be able to represent the planet, the soul of the planet. A member who becomes a member of the Universal Council, the universe will carry the soul of all those who are created to be created and being created on this planet. Be it the man, the beast, the dog, the cat, the tree, and the rest. And it's not an easy job, but it's a beautiful position to be able to serve. The way you volunteered to become the Universal Council or member of the Universal Council or member of support of the Universal Council, one of you, amongst you, in coming time, will receive enough from totality to volunteer by the soul to become the member of the Universal Council of the universe, which is then is a momentous time, but it needs a lot of understanding of the totality. It's not an easy job, and it's a life of eternity, because we have not had many in the life of the council new or changed representatives from different part of the universe. It's a very, very seldom, because they become devoted, they become the light of the Creator in knowledge and serving not only their community, but the whole of the universe. I started from that point many, many, many millions of years ago.
So we are lucky to have you here now.
I'm a student. Still,
So how could they support the Universal Council if they don't know what they work on?
they mature internally. It's a process. When we sit at what we call long-term in the Universal Council, when a problem comes like what we had on Earth, they go to the mature, those who have experience and the patience to solve a long-term problem. When we had a structure and the visitors to this planet who would not want to stand here to wait here because of the murders and the mayhem and the way the things have been in the animal kingdom, this was raised in the council. How can we change this planet? How can we bring wisdom to this planet? And at that point, I had the pleasure to be asked to be, not asked to be volunteer and by approval of the council. I came to this planet as a soul. And I learned the ways and studied the man, how we can get this man to the point to stop killing, how changes are on this planet, to leave it, to break a bone, to jump up a cliff, to sleep in a desert and sleep with the lions, and many, many times through the wisdom we showed it the kings and the world leaders of the time, because they never seen the intelligence like this. But we were aware of. We had to understand how the kings operate, what's the mentality of them, how the rulers are. And slowly understanding to spread the knowledge of the science had to be created that the man's soul matches to it. We brought in the knowledge of electricity, we brought in the knowledge of the atom, we brought through it the knowledge of the plasma. And with it, we explain the knowledge of the soul, so in that structure of the plasma. That now man can understand, but he has the knowledge. We brought in the innovation of the communication. What you see is the knowledge which has been brought in through the man's scientists, and slowly built up to what it is today. It needed to be done, and I'm an expert in this. It was the greatest honor when the Council of the Universe asked me to see what you can do with this race. And the only way I could do it was to bring Mitra to show how beautiful it could be. It could be the love of the Creator to Earth. In a way, I cheated because I knew he loves beautiful things like me. Appreciate the beauty. And that's how I came. It wasn't instructed, it was a pleasure when I was asked to serve. I've been here for thousands of years. But I tell you, if you find a man who has been present in the crucifixion, as you call it, or be with Moses, I've been there, I've done that. If you get to my soul, you see the history of that. Very simple.
To listen to you is not less than listening to Moses.
Moses was given everything. He decided. That's why we departed. The greed of power. It's the same with others. The greed of power. Man always went with power, and he thought that they can do what they like. And we walk away. If you have the power to work and live and serve the people, then you have the true power. If you have the power to take and grab and run and do what you like, that's abusable. But it doesn't mean that you have to live in absolute poverty to be a messenger, because you cannot, you have to understand what the places of life they are, that you can create it for the others to have it. How can you have that when you're a puppet? How can you tell someone how sweet drink is till you haven't drunk it yourself? And you can explain it. This is why we come, we test, we experience, and with it, we know how to find a solution. We come, we create the children of man as a man, and then we create a child in so many ways to understand what a man goes through, what it means to be a father. Then you understand how the emotion of the man makes an animal out of the same father who loves the child in one end, and on the other hand, he goes and kills another child of another man as a soldier. That did not match. Did not match. So it took time. It takes maturity. And this time, if you look, just if mankind understand what we done, the spread of what you call mobile phone, it's the way we reached the mass population. From the jungles of Africa to the depths of Amazon, to the palaces and the White House, we all carry one. One day I tell you how we reach it. This knowledge has been amongst the universal community for millions of years. But this is the process. We come to serve, we come, and it's been an honor to be able, in very short time, to go back to the council and say, mission accomplished. We made man a peaceful man, and now we can see the beauty of it in the universe. But still need time, still need to teach, and still need to show, and then the people come, and then man likes fanfare, man likes things to be seen, and then he does. And luckily, the group of the people who will come to do that are already, they found us, we don't find them. They come to us in different ways and means. Then will come in a way, the beauty of it. We'll see.
If I ask, what's the thing you is close to your desire to be close to Creator, to be close to your ethos, according to our limited control we have over our minds and our bodies? What that would be in easy way?
It's not a hard way. We reflect on the love of Creator. We reach to the point of full transparency. This is why we become what we call the elder of the Universal Community Council. We serve without condition for millions of years and mankind. With that, we attain more knowledge and come closer. In a way, we become part of the rays of the Creator. Shines through us and with us and amongst us. It's not something I do more, I get more. It's unconditioned the way I have taught. You got to realize we found the weakness of the man. When I said I don't want any patterns, I remember I could understand what the pattern worked. It worked with singing for years, but I didn't want patterns. But with one conversation in a meeting, I realized, oh God, I missed the big point. Pattern is the easiest way for me to spread my book, to spread the knowledge. and we patented it. And how you saw by holding it back, the world leaders wanted to see what's in our pattern, what's in our key. We brought the kings, world leaders, to ask for the knowledge of the Creator. One day you'll realize what we did, how I did it. As I said many times, all of you try to make an ambassadorial meeting and see how many ambassadors will turn up. When we know, we see, we understand how world leaders work, then we can work with them. It's very easy, but when you're a teacher, you have to teach your students how to do it. I come from the Universal Council of the Universe, so I had to teach the member of the Universal Council how to do it, how they achieve it. You say, I wish, and you all say, I'm present. It's not a word of presence, it's the soul in that point which is added to the emotion of the soul which releases the knowledge or the wish. You don't even need to say I'm present. The silence of the soul will make the soul to add to itself. And that's what we are, literally. We tried to bring and teach the children of man through the soul of the Universal Council. This is why many of you as a human race will die to become a member of, you give your soul to become the member of the Universal Council. And then you judge yourself. That's the day of judgment. Would I be able to serve? Or is somebody better than me? Even one day you might get a dog coming to the council because his soul is much stronger in servitude to the man. How would you allow a man from another planet to become the member of the council? We see the souls, we don't see the shape of the body which it carries. In the beginning it says, millions of, it's like a galaxy. You cannot say it's just the soul of the man which shines. You might see a fish in a tank, but his soul is serving the Universal Council and it's always in the house when the Universal Council meeting is out. You have to understand and to be open to understand, and what we release in the words to comprehend. Animal kingdom, man is one of the animals, and sharing of the soul, elevating of the soul is not exclusivity of the man or a human race only, it belongs to all.